What's up, guys? It's James with This Weekend Airsoft. Back again. I am so freaking busy. I am lucky to have the man with the plan, Mr. I love the U.S. military. I'm back again. Mr. Greg Wong. What's going on, Sergeant?
Not much, not much. Just been catching up with just SHOT Show just happened recently, and man, that was it was nuts. It was pretty much. I mean, when you go to Vegas, I think you can only really be there for 3 days at a time if you're visiting before it really starts wearing down on you. Because we were there for almost an entire week, and I was pretty beat after that. I had to take a couple days to
Dude,
go do a few other things,
you're
but
you're
man.
like you're like nonstop. I know some guys knew this. I just found this out about you. I mean, I want to talk about Shot Show, but you are in the reserves,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, dude,
Yep.
that's freaking awesome, man. I figured you would have been like, enough is enough. But man, that's very commendable. That's really commendable that you're doing that. So that's all. I'm gonna leave you alone
Oh.
now. Enough of that. No more smoke up your ass. Let's talk about Shot Show, man. Let's talk about the PTS booth. Tell us what you saw. What how many beautiful women you met. Did you go to the what's it the adult festival up there or whatever?
Well, there was a lot. There was SHOT Show Vegas. Man, there's a lot of cool stuff that
I
happens. But I'll
bet.
start off with the PTS booth. So we were like, this year was kind of interesting because it was the first year that we had our own booth. Previous years PTS was with Magpul, and then it was kind of in the KWA booth. But this year we had our own booth, and so it was very unique and interesting. There's a lot of learning for a lot of the guys. Even my boss. I mean, his company was before when he used to be at Spartan Imports was one of the first companies that had an airsoft booth at SHOT Show. Period. But so we were in the basement this year, and we were like trying to figure out are we gonna get a lot of traffic? We weren't sure. We were at the very corner of the basement too, so we were like exactly near the middle. We were relatively close to the food court, but surprise, surprise. I mean, from what I've found and learned, being on a corner is way better than being in like the middle of an aisle somewhere because you can kind of get lost there. When you're at a corner, though, at an intersection, if anyone wants to walk that way, they have to see you. Like, they will see you. If they're going by the corner that we're going to be at, they will walk by. So it was a very high traffic area. And we actually had, I don't know if you're familiar with that professional shooter, Jeremy, I think it's Mielik. Pardon if I messed it up, but he's an old guy who's a really amazing competition shooter. And they had like a couple different events where he was like signing stuff across the way, so I got an autograph from him too. But we
Cool.
had it so like the Nissan booth was right next to us, so we actually had quite a amount of traffic coming through. But going back to the booth itself, we actually had a really nice, really quick setup. It didn't take long to set up, didn't take long to tear down. Thankfully, because some of the more extravagant booths out there is like, man, people are staying there till like 1 in the morning, packing everything away. But we primarily had on the left side, we primarily had our rifles, more or less our dressed up rifles. We had our two MKMs. One of them was our standard MKM with all the new furniture, and it was all dressed up. And then we also had a Cerakoted one in Flat Dark Earth. Where basically, we're
Nice.
just kind of testing the waters, seeing if people really want another variant of the MKM. And the MKM has actually been doing pretty good for being one of the more expensive gas blowback rifles out there. I was actually surprised myself that I think we like sold out of them. We're getting a whole new shipment in too as well. But one thing that I was really excited for too was the new Centurion Arms gas blowbacks. Like I've been like begging. I was like, we got to do some full Centurion Arms rifles because those guys, great company, and they make some great stuff. Their rail systems are in my opinion, it's some of my favorite ones I've come across. Especially the CMR. If you're not familiar, the CMR is a tubular rail system, and it's lightweight, it's durable, but it also has those really unique looking panels that you could put on there and you can customize, and I don't know, it's pretty awesome. And the fact that we're doing a full rifle is really exciting for me. And if anyone wasn't familiar, they all use the same LM4 mags. It's all OEM by Yikai, so it has all that same cross functionality with LM4, the MKM. So you'll be able to use the same mags with everything, so you don't have to buy new mags. And then we also had the Shorty MKM for people who like that gun but just want it in a nice CQB package as well. I think the big hit this year for us also was gas blowback Masada. I kind of call that like that's like the unicorn gun. It's like at every SHOT Show, it's always there, but it's like hasn't been released yet. It hasn't been released yet. Well, I actually got to test it. It was a working prototype, so that one is definitely like I think in terms of our gas blowback line, I think that's the next one that's coming out. Also
Nice.
showed off the PDRD, which a lot of people were excited about.
Guys, been waiting for that one. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I like the PDRC. The PDRD was pretty cool because you didn't need an extended grip for it. Because that was kind of my biggest gripes about the original PDRC design was like, I know it was designed to be concealed, and maybe they had a really stubby grip so it could be more concealed under a jacket or something. But man, it made it really weird to grip, especially if you had big hands. Which I know for you gripping a PDRC would
Oh
be
yeah, dude.
like
It's
gripping
it's
half.
like yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it comes up to here on your hand, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's weird. It feels weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we came out with the pre-production non-functioning gas blowback prototype of the show. I think a lot of people loved it. I know Dan from GI was like, that's like one of his dream guns, so he was like drooling over that thing. But really great gun. I like the design specifically, and I think the way it was configured, we actually took one of the FPG carrying handles on there with one of the flashlights, and because the height over bore is very similar, or at least for the cheek weld to the line of sight on like the FPG to that gun, it like fit perfectly. So and we
Nice.
actually we have a couple of those left, so maybe we're still deciding if might throw some of those in to come with the gun or not. But yeah, right now that's a non-functioning prototype. It's gonna come with the 20 round mag, but if you've seen some of the pictures, it's fully compatible with all the LM4 mags. So if you have your 40 round mags, you can definitely use those as well. The other last tidbit would be all like the new accessories, specifically the enhanced polymer line. We kind of wanted to stay in the realm of something like just like the EPM, do something that's recognizable, that's familiar, but kind of add our own little twist to it, our own little input to it. We still love the guys from Magpul. They every now and then they'll come by and say hi to us, and we still talk to each other. But I think they actually came by and they actually liked the designs as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we have the new enhanced polymer stock, which is kind of our answer to the kind of, I guess you could say, our interpretation of what the ACS stock is. Crytek did something very similar last year, so more or less this is kind of like our interpretation of the ACS. So both designs are actually kind of interesting. They're both derivative of the original ACS design. So we came out with the pre-production prototype of that. We had the enhanced polymer grip, which is the rifle grip. We have two different versions, the compact and the standard. The compact is kind of something, it almost has a silhouette that's kind of similar to like what you find on a 416. And it's because different ergonomics, different body mechanics, people grip differently, or people have different size hands as well. So we had different designs. The original one is kind of very reminiscent of the Mo or the Mayan, but we actually have this RTF texture. So if you're familiar with the Glock and that grid texture,
Right.
that's the texture we decided to go with. I'm actually a big fan of it because even with your standard Mo grip, I tend to find that with my like mechanics .5, since it's a little bit thinner, the sweat tends to go through the glove a little bit more, and I'll basically tend to start get sliding on the grip. It's just a little bit more slippery, I guess you could say. So the added texture, RTF texture on the new enhanced polymer stuff, for me, I dig it a lot. It's a little bit more defined. It's going to grip better, and it just looks solid. Also, we had the enhanced polymer foregrip. Everything's all enhanced polymer series. But the enhanced polymer foregrip, this is what some people are really losing their minds for. It's the battery grip. So we have a standard length grip that can hold a LiPo battery. This was kind of made to answer the problem of front wired guns, but people want to use an illumination or a IR device on their gun without having to have a dummy version. There's a couple different options out there, but this one definitely is going to fit a lot of the players out there. And what I like is that even without the battery, it still works fine as a standard length vertical grip. And then of course we have the stubby, which I think that one's actually my favorite one at the moment. A little bit shorter than the rail vertical grip that Magpul makes. To me, it's like just the right size. It's really comfortable. And in some of our accessories, we had some like MARSOC guys come by, and I think some of them are going to try to run them on some of their guns in theater. So we'll see what happens. But overall, the booth, it did way better than we initially expected. I was surprised. We're in the basement, we're in the corner. It's like, well, how much traffic can we get down there? But surprisingly, it was pretty crazy. And then Article 15 Clothing came by and hung out because they're good friends with my boss at PTS. But that that's the booth. It was
Yeah, I saw I saw that that video up there. We had some
yeah.
fun. We had some fun with that video, and it's funny because someone on your Instagram, like the guys from Article 50, and I'll put a link. It's really funny. It's on Greg's Instagram, but they're like yelling about something, and and poor unfortunately, like Jet is in the background,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
like
turns
turns like
around at
what?
just the right time, and his face, it just looks like he looks very guilty
Yeah,
right
looks
then.
just-
So it's a funny
yeah.
picture, it's a really funny picture. But yeah, we had some fun with that. But yeah, so no, that they're definitely cool guys, and I wish I had been there. I wish I could have gone to meet them. I would have been honest to meet them.
Oh
They
yeah,
probably
I
been
mean,
like, "Get the hell out of here! Who are you?" But still,
that Best is so nice. Like it's kind of hard to get an idea, like a feel for all the guys. Like I think, like of all the guys there, Matt Best was definitely the biggest surprise personality wise. Because I mean, the other guys kind of more or less fit my expectation of what it'd be like to talk to them. They're all really nice guys, of course, but like Matt was like super nice, like way like. You think, yeah, I have a couple other friends who are Army Rangers, and each one of them is a little different. Some of them are a little bit more subtle, or a little bit more quieter, or maybe some of them are really just super like over the top hardcore. But he was really, really nice. I was really surprised. But yeah, we had a great time when they came by the booth, and overall, I mean, it was so busy. I think we got a lot more traffic than we anticipated. But kind of transitioning over to what else I saw, I was actually very fortunate because. While I did get to work at the PTS booth, I got to do my Spartan 117GW thing and actually run around and see some of the other booths as well. Definitely hit up LBT and LBX. Definitely a lot of great things over there. They're more or less continuing the evolution of like their collaboration with Costa. So they have like a big loadout bag that's going to be able to integrate with all the map system panels. And I don't know if I told you a funny story. When I was at Warrior West, I actually helped LVX come up with the map system like name itself. And we were just all joking around, trying because I guess Soldier Systems had came by, and Alex had to come up with the name because he was going to write about it that night. And he was like, "Well, we got to name this something. We haven't named it yet." So we ended up coming up with the Mission Adaptable Panel System. So it was just funny. It was made up on the spot, but it stuck. And so that's where the map system is today. They also showed off at LBT this new Pelican case bag. So the idea is that you wouldn't have to cut pre-shaped foam all the time. You can just get this one bag or a couple different bags. Just throw the bag in there and you're good to go. You don't have to do some crazy modifications. It allows you to have different loadouts, but use the same Pelican case because fiscally or financially, it's kind of hard to own multiple Pelican cases for a lot of people unless
it's kind of
you have
hard
good
to
access.
own one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap. And like I
Yeah.
said, the extra trouble of cutting out the foam inside, it's really designed to save you on some time. And then I went by mechanics. Definitely, that's another funny story. So right before SHOT Show, they'd contacted me. I went up there and I helped them. They were coming up with names for their 8 gloves that were showing up at SHOT Show, and they just wanted like a second opinion. So I helped them out a little bit. I ended up just changing one of the names outright because they had one glove called Fallout, and then we changed to Hybrid just because it kind of had some features that some of the other gloves had. So their booth was pretty busy this year. They had 8 gloves, but I think they're going to take those 8 and compress it down to 4 because they're just kind of seeing which gloves people really magnetize to, and they're going to go with probably a smaller number for their new tactical line essentially. But it's really made for law enforcement and military, but kind of designed to have that really good crossover. Really.
Do you
So I
still
think
have
what?
your is your coupon code still good with them?
Oh yeah, yeah, it still works. I ended up having to change it at one point because I guess it got on was it Retail Me Not or something like that, so people were
Uh,
using crap out of it. But yeah, ended up changing it, but the code's still there if people want to use it. I think it's MWS117GW. I'd have to check because I've personally I've used it in a while, but yeah, that one's there in case people want to save 20% on the gloves. That's the great thing about the gloves. They're nice, they're economical, and if you happen to lose them, which if you ever owned a set of gloves before, you lose gloves every now and then. The fact that they're affordable, you can replace them really easily. That's one of the things I like about the company. But trying to think about what else I saw at SHOT Show. Oh, TNVC. Now there's a lot of buzz about TNVC this year. One because of their involvement with Milsim, but also just the flat out innovation that them and Unity Tactical have been doing together. So it's also funny because Unity Tactical is also one of the they're one of PTS's licensors. So I mean, who knows? Maybe there'll be more collabs in the future. But they have this system essentially that allows you to attach a GoPro to any kind of night vision really and record straight through the tube
Oh
essentially.
man, how much is
What
that?
Okay, so the mount itself is gonna probably be like 500. They had a 3D printed. I know. I can see the look on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3D printed prototype there, and it was a collaboration between TNVC and Unity, and it uses, I think it's Wilcox Prism. It uses a prism essentially. So it basically reflects the image you see into the GoPro that's mounted directly on the side of whatever tube, whether it's a single tube or dual tube system. So basically what you see is what the GoPro sees. And what's really crazy is if you have two GoPros on each tube, one on each tube, when you watch it back, you could have 3D night vision footage.
Ah,
Night vision footage.
that's
It's like,
awesome.
oh, right? So and the reason this is, people want to record their footage not only just for milsim and sporting, but also in the real world. People, they like to record the footage. So if there's like a report or an after action report or some kind of something crazy, they can show for a fact what happened exactly. So
Right.
recording technology is coming a long way. It's really built around the GoPro system right now. And if, in case you don't want to have it head mounted, they also have an inline system where the GoPro is mounted directly behind the tube as well, so you don't have to kind of come up with some kind of crazy rig at all. But that was kind of the highlights of the TNVC booth. Other than that, they had this thing called the knuckle, which attaches to your helmet, so you can have your lights and your contours and other devices all mounted on the arc rail without having to sacrifice space. That thing's pretty cool. I think the milsim community will like that as well. And I think the last really cool thing, well, second to last really cool thing from their booth was I think it's called the TAPS, but it's basically a universal pressure switch. It's like a Lego kit because what Unity Tactical does is really cool, and it's great because all their systems use the few parts of their Fusion rail attachment system, which is like a Lego kit for lights, rails, sights, all that kind of stuff. But their pressure switch, it's like you can take it apart. You can change out whatever cables you want. So if you need a pressure switch for a Surefire or Enforce or something else, all these different industry standards or D-balls or whatever, they have it. So you can create your own custom pressure switch, and it's programmable too. So both buttons are at different heights, and you can program it just by pressing it like in a sequence or something like that, so that you can have it so it like flickers or like strobes, or it's solid beam or this, that, and the other. And like I said, it'll work with like anything, any kind of lighting system, any kind of IR device that you have, and it's pretty cool. And it's super low profile, and they've got different backplates to mount for M-Lock, Keymod, Picatinny rail. I mean, you name it.
Jeez,
But
that's pretty
that's
awesome.
cool. Unity and TNVC are really knocking it out of the park this year. And to top the cherry on the cake for their booth, people didn't know, but I got the brief before just about anyone else did. The kit that was there at the booth, there was a full-size kit in AOR1. That is Mark Owen's kit. That is the kit that was on the raid itself. So
Holy
it was kind of
shit.
cool to see a piece of history there, but the kit was there to kind of show off the No Easy Day rifle, which features, of course, the Centurion Arms rails. Mark Owen actually is a friend of Monty at Centurion Arms, so it's got the rails on there. It's beautifully decked out. It's painted and everything. And it was just a really nice complete package. And like I said, that kit that was there, it was like, that is the kit. And it was funny because I posted a picture on Instagram, and people were like, oh no, his kit was different in the book and all this and that. And of course, he didn't have the panel nods there because they were showing the TNVC Sentinels. But then it was funny because on Instagram, Mark Owen's like, nope, kids, that is the kit. Helmet, shirt, plate carrier, shoes, everything. So, but that kind of really tied it off for TNVC. It was just a really great showing this year. Trying to think, Airsoft-wise, I mean, every manufacturer brought something different to the table. I heard ICS ran into a bit of trouble, though.
What happened?
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think, I don't know if the owner, someone got arrested for, I guess, either copyright infringement or something. I think it had to do with Umarex, because there was a lot of, I mean, it's when Airsoft, everyone's always emulating something else, and I guess they emulated too closely of perhaps some of the HK products, I think. But yeah, I heard there was definitely some legal action taken there at the show. That was kind of like some of the buzz that was going around. But yeah, G&G had a lot of interesting things to show off, particularly kind of like their updated combat machines. And like from what was described to me, they've actually done quite a bit to upgrade. I mean, the combat machine platform is already a very economical, good base platform to start off from. It's a great beginner gun because if you break it, no big deal. It was like 150 bucks, 160 bucks, but you can upgrade it and really turn it into something else. But they're bringing like this whole new combat machine to the market that it's got quite a few features. I think it's got a MOSFET in it. I think they've got a version with full metal body, and it has ambidextrous mag release, bolt catch. I mean, they've done all kinds of crazy stuff, and I think they have ambi selectors on some of the new guns they have as well. So definitely, if someone's a big fan of those guys, check those guys out because they got some interesting guns coming out. Let's see. I'm trying to think who else. Crytek, their big announcement was kind of like their partnership with Warsport. They didn't have a Warsport airsoft gun. They actually had a real Warsport gun at their booth and over at the Machine Gun Vegas. They did Machine Gun Vegas again, which was
Nice.
pretty cool. But they're also kind of bringing back their light machine gun, their support weapon. So I
Yeah.
actually got a chance to talk to Alan before the show, but it was cool because I think it was even kind of one of my biggest gripes about the current configuration of their light machine gun, the support weapon, is the handguard. It just looked too much like a saw. To me, it was kind of like it was too old school. For a gun that was trying to be so modern and up to date, it had like furniture on it that just looked a little outdated. So they went ahead, did a really nice job. They put a key mod handguard rail system up front, and what's great is if when you add little key mod rail segments on the top portion, it's in line with the rest of the body and its top Picatinny and it's all zeroed out. So that's going to be really cool when that comes out.
Nice.
I think wasn't sure if they were showing off one of their DMR platforms, but they did have the prototype Crytek mag at the booth. I'd actually seen that one at a previous GI event, a couple I think it was their summer sale or something like that. So that was pretty cool as well. It has a lot of features that are very reminiscent of the ERG mags, and people didn't know the guys they kind of had a lot of input on that. So when the guys went from KWA to Crytek, they kind of brought over a lot of the ideas that made the ERG mag great. And so it's going to have a lot of interesting and familiar features as well. Let's see. I'm trying to think what other booths did I go by. I did see Polar Star's F1, which is kind of like their answer for a drop-in, basically Polar Star, a little fusion engine, drop-in fusion engine essentially into any gearbox. So in a way, I mean, to be honest, it's basically like their answer to in my opinion, to like what the Wolverine, yeah, to the
Right.
Wolverine. So that'll be interesting to see when that comes out. I really want to do a comparison to see between the two, performance wise, and of course, I mean the HPA market is just exploding right now. I mean,
How much are they selling it for? Is it like $800?
I think it'll be significantly less.
I
I
hope
can't.
so. God,
Yeah,
I
I
hope
can't
so.
remember what the price was. I don't think I got that, but yeah, because I mean, since it's not a complete, fusion engine, it's just like this the core, F1 piece. I think it'll be significantly cheaper. I mean, I'm looking to actually get a Polar Star put together, like get a PTS gun with a Polar Star put together, so that way I can do my job, but I can also like check out the the Polar Star stuff because I've always been curious about HPA and I've always I know it has amazing performance potential, and like it's in some areas of the country, it's like just dominating at the
Dude,
field.
you got to come out to the East Coast, man.
Well, I
Uh,
was there for 4 years, so I mean, I'm definitely
Freaking,
familiar.
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, but I'm just saying, there's a guy in, I think he's in PA, and he runs they run a Kydex company. Him and one of the guys out here, you know Trevor Armstrong.
I don't think so. It
Okay,
sounds familiar though.
I
Let
think
me see.
he's probably gonna kick my ass. I'm probably making something up right now, but I think he's 82nd or something. I'm not sure. Trevor
Okay,
Armstrong, but
Trevor Tank Armstrong.
yeah,
Trevor
that's him.
Armstrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
so his team is the red right. They're either the red right hand or the red hand or something like, I can't remember now. It's something red hand or something like that. Anyway, there's a guy on their team, Dobie. Okay, and this guy is like the evil dark wizard of HPA. He built for one of my buddies, for my gun tech, a guy who does he does a lot of the work on, he did a lot of the work on my G&G, my modified G&G. Um, he built a HPA system that runs off of CO2, CO2 cartridges, and the CO2 cartridges mount inside a thing in the back of the gun, in the back of the stock. So you
Okay,
load
like
the
in the buffer tube or something,
yeah,
or
in the buffer tube, yeah, and it doesn't have a regulator, so it's like hard set to a certain whatever I think,
yeah.
but there's no regulator. Man, he gets 3,000 rounds out of one CO2 cartridge.
What the
So
what?
imagine the HPA experience without a tube and a tank.
That's
That's
I think that's one of the things that's kind of
yeah,
been kind of not to say holding me back, but I'm like so against running a hose. I'm just like,
yeah.
like,
I feel like a lot of the
that's pretty
traditionalists don't
cool.
want to
That's
run a
pretty
hose. I
cool.
would run one. I shot one of the Polar Stars at Irene a few years back, and I fell in
Amazing
love, man.
performance.
Yeah,
Amazing
absolutely.
performance.
But
Yeah.
I can't validate spending building $1,000 gun. I can't do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I'm going to spend $1,000 on a gun, it's going to be
Buy
a
a
real
real
gun.
rifle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I mean? That's how I
Yeah.
feel. And I hate to be that guy, but I don't have recreational capital to spend $1,000 on a gun. You know, so
Yeah, I mean, when you got to figure out where you're gonna place your money. I mean, to each their own. Like in
yeah, right.
California, where like the gun laws are more restrictive, maybe I think it maybe is more justifiable.
Yeah, yeah, you're
But I
right.
mean, out in like the Midwest or where you can, or East Coast, where you can buy just about anything. It's like you can get some really high end stuff without spending that much money.
Yeah, and it's like you said, to each his own. I'm not knocking anybody who can do that. I can't financially, I can't, but I'm not knocking anybody who does. I would trust me. If I could, I would have a room of airsoft guns. You know, like I'd have that freaking $3,000
You'd have the
Echo
Haley's chicken
One.
ball.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? I'd be that guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not knocking if people who can. I more power to you. I just can't. Like financially, I
Yeah,
can't. So
financially, you got to pick
yeah,
one or the other. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Polar Star had the F1. I know KWA had showed off. They showed off their new ERGs, the new rail systems, their new different color CQRs. I tell you, it's kind of interesting. The prototype gun. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen their prototype gun?
No. Mm-mm.
Check it out and take a look at the PDR. That's all I'll say about that. But it's very interesting. But you can definitely see where the inspiration came from.
Right.
But I mean, I think overall they had quite a lot of new guns, and I think they were showing their new gas blowback AKs, their recoil AKs as well. So that was definitely cool from those guys. I wanted to run by Vulcan, but I literally ran out of time between me splitting between the booth and running around, getting to like appointments and meetings and stuff. I didn't get a chance, but I know Vulcan had a new I think it was like a hybrid HPA system that had like recoil or something like that. So I heard that was really cool. So for people who haven't checked that out, I think it's
Yeah,
one of
that's
their
exciting.
new V12, I guess.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta harass Josh to get him on the show.
Oh,
'Cause, yeah,
Josh is a great guy. I love that guy. And,
yeah,
yeah, I think it was great because when he came down for the Evic thing, like we hung out for a little bit, and yeah, he's been running the EPMs. He's got a Centurion rail on his V12. It was a beautiful looking gun. So I can't argue with that. I was like, it looks good. Let's see. I'm trying to think what other booths at SHOT Show really blew me away. But I mean, in the real steel sense, it was not to say pretty standard or expectations like what you'd expect, but I mean it was I guess mild. I mean there was no single system that like blew your mind away in the real
that's
steel wise.
yeah.
It
I
was just
followed
new
it.
ARs and new.
Yeah,
We've all seen it before, but I mean, it's like, I mean, if you have like a certain thing that you follow, you might pick up things. And I think, to be honest, and I think a lot of people agree, the basement is where a lot of the innovation is. Like a lot of the really new, cool, innovative. I mean, this is just guns and hunting wise in general. The basement is really where all those really cool innovative products are. I mean, the big companies they come up with stuff, but they're a little bit slower, and it's people, those individual creative ideas. Like the basement is just a money pot for that.
no, that's you're right about that. And my first year was at SHOT Show last year was that was my experience. I spent my entire first 3 or 4 days in the basement, and I was just like, "This is amazing! Oh my god!"
All this innovative
And
stuff.
yeah, exactly. And then you go upstairs, and it's like, "Hello, we have a new hunting rifle." You're like, "Okay, what does it do?" They're like, "Well, you put a
It,
bullet in the breech, and you pull the trigger, and it shoots." And you're
right,
like,
yeah.
"Well," and
I mean, it's so showy up there, but
yeah,
it's a nice elaborate booth. But like Glock or something, for example. I mean, all those big booths, they might have like one or two new things, but it's kind of a new variant of something they already
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
As
It's like,
opposed
yeah,
to like downstairs, you'll find something you've like never seen or thought
yeah,
of before, which is really it's really a treat if you get the time to run around downstairs. I mean, it's very you'll see all kinds of stuff down there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think what else. Trying to figure out what other booths I got to go by. Man, there's so many. But I will say the parties were definitely really cool. Specifically, the Cry Party.
I saw we posted the video that you got from working hard, at the cry party. But yeah, man, tell us about the cry party.
So it was really lucky, and like that's why I think this year it kind of like really put the cherry on the cake for PTS. So like PTS was, as far as I know, was the only like airsoft company that got invited to go to that. So like was just working at the booth, and the CEO of PTS comes by. He's like, "Look, cry badges." It's just like, dude, that's not like just one or two. There's like enough for everyone here. I was like,
Yeah,
he's like, yeah,
cry.
exactly.
Just really quick, let me interrupt you real quick, Greg. The cry party is the most exclusive party at Shot Show.
Pretty
You know,
much.
yeah. Last year I think they had like
Snowmobiles.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, snowmobiles, and it was like a sled, and there was a slide you go in to get to the party. It's one of the most exclusive parties at Shot Show, so to get to go to it is a big deal. I mean, we don't care about that, but we obviously do care about it. So tell us about the
Well,
cry party. 'Cause
so
it'll be
it
a lot
was
of fun.
cool because they got the badges, and I was like, dude, this is nuts. And I actually have one of the badges in my hands. I'm just looking at it, but it was called the Super Nintendo Drift. So it's a Mario Kart cosplay themed party, and like I mean, some of the companies that helped put it together are Knights Armament, Academy, Oakley, Troy, Sig Sauer, Dylan Arrow, Salient Arms, Silencer Co. Just to name a few. So I mean,
Right.
like this is like a top tier party, and of course, I actually was able to find a way to get Milsim Junkie into it too. But we go there, and the first thing you see outside is nice, cool projection. Super Nintendo Drift. It's like, oh man, this is about to happen. You go upstairs, and you get issued like. If you don't have cosplay already, they'll issue you like a Mario hat and like a Mario beard and everything. And if you're a lady, they'll give you like something else. But so you get issued like your cosplay stuff, and then they have a tube slide that goes down into the party. So it's kind of cool because like Mario, you go into the tube and you get transported to that underworld or whatever. But we go slide down the tube, and it's just like you're just in the party, just like you're just right there in the middle, in the neck of it. It's just like crazy. Free food, free drinks. I mean, everything there was already paid for. And they had a raffle for charity, and I believe the cry parties are built around it's the Wilson family fishing trip. I believe it's what it's called. That's the charity I believe it's for, because they had a lot of exclusive items that you could bid on that they were raffling away for charity. That so you could win those, or auction. Yeah, it's auction. But they had, of course, the race. So last year they had the snowmobile race. This year they had like Mario Kart go-kart races. So they had people dressed up as like the different Mario characters on the go-karts racing, and like one of the cars says like Academy on it. I was like, that's so cool.
That's
And
cool.
like Caleb Cry he's the guy dressed up as like kind of like he had the big like Mario suit with the motorcycle helmet on, and he had the mic, so he's the one kind of calling the shots. So it was cool because, and of course in Mario Kart everyone's throwing projectiles at him, so there's tennis balls everywhere. Everyone's just chucking them as
Yeah, I
good
saw
as they can,
that.
and like the drivers are getting pelted, but it was all in good fun. And I love that Caleb cries like cheating is encouraged. You have like guys cutting each other off and like running each other off the road, and it was cool. It's Oakley and like Silencer Co are like neck and neck, and like one of them runs the other off the road and comes around the corner. And like some of those guys got really good at driving those cars. I was like, wow! Like I don't know if you saw the video, but some of the guys are doing like crazy little twists and turns,
Yeah,
like
some
literally
guys on
drifting
drifts and
around the
spinning
corner.
around and stuff. Yeah, it was
Oh
cool.
yeah, so that was really impressive. And like I mean, if you've never been to that one, I mean, everyone who's fucking anyone is there. I mean, there was that guy from the Expendables was there. I'm trying to remember, is the big bald guy. Trying to remember. He was dressed up as like Raiden this year. It was really funny. But people from Go Ruck were there. The Soft Rep was there. Soldier Systems. I mean, like this was literally like the party to be at. You couldn't walk. Oh, Of course, Amanda Furr, who's like this Olympian shooter, was there too. Really pretty, really nice person too. But yeah, it was man, it was a mind blowing party, and like there was a lot of people, a couple people from the airsoft industry that got to go, including myself and Arwen, and it was just mind blowing. It's just anything that you could ever think of about the Cry Party, that was it. And then the after party was at Crazy Horse, which is one of the strip clubs out there. But I ended up going to that because I was just so tired. But I mean, they covered all kinds of stuff. It was very entertaining. There was something for everybody there. It was a lot of fun.
Jeez, very cool,
Yeah.
man. Awesome. Awesome. I hate you. I hate you, man. Ah, feel the hate. Ugh.
But if you
Gosh,
want to
next
see what it
year.
looked like, I put the video on my YouTube channel. But
Yeah, yeah, we
yeah,
got the video. We posted it on our, we reposted it. So, guys, if you want to take a look, I'll put a link to the description to Greg's video. It's a really cool. It looks like a lot of fun, and it's exactly what you think would be like, and Cry has all those beautiful the Cry calendar girls, right? Were
yeah,
they there?
hotshot girls. I mean,
Uh,
I don't think the hotshot girl. I mean, they were probably here at the party, but I mean, it was so crowded. Like you couldn't
right.
really single out too many people. But I know the Beyond party was actually really good this year as well. And I know the hotshot calendar girls were there for a little bit, at least on the first day, and then Article 15 guys were there later in through the week. And we also went to the Ranger Up party as well with Article 15. So overall, I mean, party wise, it was like really solid. Like last year, I only went to like one or two. This year, I could not like there were so many events going on after the show. It's like I don't know what was harder to schedule, the appointments during the show or the parties after the show, every single
Right.
day. But they were like right on top of each other. You pretty much had to party hop to get to them all.
Jeez,
But
very cool, man.
the BattleCon party was actually really cool because that was actually the first time I'd seen Travis Haley and Chris Costa in the same place.
Really? Oh
Yeah, they
shit.
were in the
Wow.
same party. That one was cool. A lot of the guys from Alias, which is a training company out here, were there. Pat McNamara, but they were raffling off a gun for that Border Patrol agent who got killed during the Fast and the Furious thing. So they raffled off a gun from BattleComp, Centurion Arms, and a couple other companies that pitched in together. They raffled that off and or
Nice.
auctioned it off, and that ended up really well. So
Good.
overall, a really good shot show, really crazy, and man, a week in Vegas is like too long. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like too much. Yeah, I trust me, I know what you're talking about, man. But okay, cool, excellent. So that was it. Sounded like a great shot show, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you got to go. Glad you came to tell us about it. So we really appreciate that. Um, all right, so I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, but let's just talk about this little bit of news that we have here. Um, you're gonna be going to Road to Rostov,
Hmm.
right? You're gonna go and rep this week in Airsoft, which is totally awesome. Um, you obviously, you're going to be running your PTS kit and all that other cool stuff. Um, you're going to be doing this. It's a 30-hour or 24-hour?
It's a 40 hour. 40 hour.
40-hour.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I underestimated. 40-hour op. So he's going to do this awesome 40-hour op, and you're going to get us some video. It's going to be awesome. You're helping us out. We really, really appreciate it. Because we can't be out there on the West Coast, obviously. So, um, just thank you so much, dude. We look forward to the video and stuff like that, and you're gonna go out there and harass the guys who run the who run Milsom West for me. It's gonna be great. So,
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the opportunity. It's a privilege. It's a big honor, to go and rep you guys out there. And I think it's gonna be a great time. And I can't wait to bring back, the footage and just tell you guys how much fun it was. Because
oh yeah,
I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's my first Milsom West event. For me, it'll be more. It'll probably feel more like going back to the army than an actual airsoft game. Because I know they're all about the immersion and they're all about, not so much just the shooting, but it's all about everything else other than the shooting. They really kind of encompasses the event and really makes it different than than a lot of the stuff that's out there. But yeah, I can't wait to go. And like I said, it's definitely a pleasure to be afforded this opportunity to go and rep for you guys.
well no, like I said, we appreciate it, dude. You're gonna have fun out there with the suspension. They call it the suspension of disbelief. So it should be very good, and it'll take you back to your old days jumping. You'll be jumping out of a cargo van instead of a plane, but I feel like if you used to do that, you might just be like snap into the mode. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it should be pretty cool, man. But that's it. That's all we got today for you. So you're going to come back on after that event and just give us an AAR, like you said, and we're going to talk about that. And that's going to be February 20. I think it's the third week of February.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly the date. I have to go look it up. February 20
Yeah,
something.
that event happens like right after Chinese New Year.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So and I know that because I don't know that. I'm just saying yeah, but I have no idea. Um, but yeah, so we'll have you back on talk about that. And Greg, you're a friend of the show. You've always looked out for us. We're down here at the bottom. But you've always looked out for us, and we
Yeah,
really
I
appreciate
always
that.
look out for the little guy because we were all there at one point.
Yeah, exactly. So we really appreciate it. And obviously, anytime you want to talk about any PTS stuff, whatever, come on the show, or just shoot the shit. We're cool, man. And I told you off air, we'll be doing some gaming stuff later, so we'll definitely have to set something up with you and go do some multiplayer ass kickery.
Maybe play
We'll
some
make
Battlefield Hardline.
yeah. Oh, tell us about that. That's right. I want to talk. Tell us about Battlefield Hardline. What's going on with you in that?
All right. So, a couple months ago, I actually got to go.
Wait, before you say that,
Yeah.
Guys, it's important to realize, before we knew Greg as the the maven of Airsoft and former military guy, Greg's a gamer. That's your core love. That's your heart, right?
Yeah.
Off duty. You're still doing Off-Duty Gamers, right?
Still doing Off-Duty Gamers. I go to some of the events out there because actually, as far as I know, I'm one of the core staff. I'm one of the few guys at the West Coast. And there's so much stuff happening on the West Coast. So, I'll be writing a little bit of stuff, some articles for them, and I'm also going to be writing some, nerd reports or something like that for Breach Bang Clear, too, as well. So David Reeder over at Breach Bang Clear is good.
Oh, very cool.
So I'll be helping him out as well, kind of keep an eye on, the gaming community. But yeah, been involved in the gaming community for a while. Of course, the Battlefield 4 Showdown was kind of one of the highlights. But yeah, got to go to a Battlefield event a few months ago, and the beta is going to be launching this Tuesday. So I'm not sure when this is going to be out, but who knows? Maybe the beta will already be live and well. But I will say the game has changed a lot for the better since the last beta, and I think people will really enjoy it, especially if they really dig the infantry combat. It's definitely fast, furious, and man, those high-speed chases, they're really good in that game. So I think people will enjoy it. Yeah.
That's a new spin on the gameplay model for them, right? There was not, as far as I could tell, there's no chases or anything like that in the old game. Unless you did it yourself.
Yeah, because basically, Hotwire, it really is built around to encourage those high-speed chases where either cops or robbers, and it's great. The shooting mechanics, everything's been really smoothed out. Shooting from vehicles is very, very easy and very fluid, and you're not having to fight wherever the vehicle's going to kind of correct your point of aim. So you can really, get into really some solid car chases, and really you can take people out fairly easily. I think you actually get a lot of bonus points when you get some kills in the cars too, as well. So, and I think some of them have nitro as well. So keep an eye out, because sometimes you'll be in a gunfight and man, the guy will just come out of nowhere and just run you over. So, but it's fast, and it's I think it's probably one of the fastest Battlefields I've ever played. It's really fun.
Awesome. All right, we'll have to. Yeah, we're gonna do more with that. We got our Twitch channel, so we're gonna do some more with that definitely, and maybe we can have you on and talk and talk stuff about that on Twitch or something. That'd be awesome. I just thought that up right now. So, well, maybe we'll make that happen. I'll get a on podcast commitment from Greg. I'll put Greg on the spot. No, but we'll work on that and make that happen. That'd be really cool. So when that game comes out, or whenever we can get our grubby little hands on it, we'll definitely try that out for you guys, and you guys can check it out on our Twitch channel or whatever on the YouTube channel. Okay. So, all right, Greg, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer, man. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for spending time to talk to us about all this cool stuff, and we look forward to seeing everything you have coming out, and as far as what PTS is up to and what you're personally doing as far as the events you're going to and stuff like that. And don't forget, guys, Greg will be going to Road to Rostov for us, Milsim West event out in Clovis. So, Greg, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps everything up. We covered a lot of good stuff today.
Did.
So, yeah, thank you again for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. It's always a lot of fun to come on the show and just talk to you and talk to the guys. So, definitely looking forward to next time.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, for Mr. Greg Wong, Sergeant Greg Wong, and and for James, for me, and for the rest of the TWiA team. Thanks a lot, guys, and we're out.